You had a lot to say after the McGregor-Poirier fight. The history between you and Dustin, can you dive into that a little bit for the fans?
You know, we have a history that goes back almost 10 years. We used to train at a gym in South Florida. You know, we trained blood, sweat, and tears for 10 years together. I helped him so many times. I remember I used to help him out with his contract all the time because I was a little ahead of him and I'd won a world title, and he was like, hey, how much is your pay? Like, how much are you gonna make here? I was always very nice with him and telling him all my details about my contract so he could help get a better contract. And I'd always help him prepare for his fights, give him wrestling because he doesn't have good wrestling. He's a one-dimensional boxer in the UFC, so I'd help him, you know, be a well-rounded fighter. And then one day he just decided to turn his back on me. He's like, I'm not training with you. I'm not going to help you. I was going to fight this guy, Robbie Lawler, who's a legend in the UFC. It was one of his friends. He's like, I'm not training with Colby. You know, I don't want nothing to do with Colby. I don't like his act, his character. You know, I want him kicked out of the gym. And like, he started putting his feelings to the gym owner and was like, hey, I want him out. Like, I don't want him here. So he was kind of one of the reasons I was forced to leave my old gym. So we just have a very bad history. I mean, I don't have any nice things to say about him.
No, I have not heard any nice things in a while, so that's fair. Do you think he should have been proud of that win over McGregor, considering that he broke his leg, his ankle?
Absolutely not. That was a fluke ending. The way Conor threw the kick, he threw a front kick, a teep kick, and it landed on Dustin's elbow. That's an accidental fluke ending. You know, you can't celebrate, and he's over there. This is this nice charitable guy that pretends to be this nice guy on camera. He's strutting in Conor's face right after the fight, you know, right? Dude, that guy just made you millions and millions of dollars and made your career, and you're gonna laugh at him during this fluke ending, and when this guy gave you everything and this opportunity. I mean, it just shows the fake guy that he is. He pretends to be this nice guy on camera, but really he's a piece of shit.
We had heard some talk about maybe his ankles like had been broken before that actual break when it basically snapped. Is that something that happens in the UFC where you're doing all these kicks, there's a small break, and then eventually it's just too much? Is that something that you think happened with him?
After every fight that Conor loses, he has a new excuse. Okay. And all these fighters, they try and have these built-in excuses. You know, oh, I had some injury going into the fight, so that's why, that's what the result of the fight was, because of that injury. So I think that was a built-in excuse. He's trying to keep the fans still engaged and not let them think that he's done and his career's over, because he made all that money for Floyd. He doesn't have the same motivation, the same drive in his career. So I don't believe that story that his leg was messed up going into the fight.
There's a certain, almost like a threshold in the UFC where you hit a certain age and it almost seems like you kind of go downhill a bit. Do you think he's reached that kind of apex and now he's almost kind of scrambling for news to stay relevant? Because that's kind of the vibe that I get for it, even though he's a legend.
Yeah, for sure.
It's over?
Yeah, it's over. I don't think Conor brings anything to the table anymore. You can see the heart's gone. He doesn't have the same passion for the sport anymore. He's not waking up at 6 a.m. to go on these long runs or bike rides to make sure he's in tip-top physical shape. He's on his yacht, you know, smoking joints, you know, drinking his little whiskey and hanging out with hookers and doing that sort of stuff. So I think the best we've seen from Conor McGregor is in the past, and we won't see that ever again.
The comments he made after the fight, he was talking about Poirier's wife. You and I kind of talked off camera a little bit about the showmanship of the UFC. You're known for this, right? You say what comes to your mind, and there is a part of that in the UFC. I think people can get a little turned off by that sometimes because they think it's 100% real. How real is it? Like the stuff that you are saying, like even what he said, right, about Poirier's wife, is that stuff that is done for the showmanship of the UFC, or is that really personal, like bad blood in between fighters?
You know, I think it's a combination of both. You know, for me, you know, when I sell fights, and that's what it's all about, is selling fights and getting people engaged. Whether they hate you or love you, they're tuning in to watch you. All the people that hate me, they want to see me fail and get knocked out. All the people that love me, they want to see me get my hand raised and win. So at the end of the day, how can people be so fickle to say that, oh, he said some mean words, this or that? Dude, we're getting locked in a cage in our underwear and we're taking each other's brain cells. So how mean can you be? Oh,